All right, welcome back to the KFYR Plus News Desk. And can you eat a McDonald's and still stay healthy? We are joined by healthy living expert Paul Fulford to explore now a smart food choices that I guess won't wreck your diet, even when the drive-thru is your only option. Welcome to the News Desk, Mr. Fulford.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. So fast food often gets a bad rap, Paul. Do you think that reputation is entirely fair?
I think it can be. I think it's one of those things where there's like looking at things as simple swaps, right? It's what you choose in the fast food menu, which can make it either healthy, not healthy.
Okay. So, what are the biggest misconceptions that people may have about eating at places like McDonald's while trying to stay healthy?
Well, I mean, for example, myself, I live on the road constantly. So I run into this all the time. And it's not about, it's not black or white, right? I would say what the real question is like, what are your options that you have available? And like basic nutritional facts, right? Like there's an article that was recently, put out on a
Hmm.
dietitian who was talking about McDonald's and actually having healthy options. And it is that simple swaps piece, right? Where it's, do you need unnecessary carbs? Like, for example, when I go to small cities where there's not a whole lot of fast food choices, sometimes there's a McDonald's. I mean, there's a McDonald's everywhere, right? So
Yeah.
what I choose is I even take it a step further where I will get like a double quarter pounder with cheese, add two patties, remove everything else. And that's the only thing I'll eat. So I'm getting a ton of protein when I have limited options.
Sure. Is it possible to lose weight or even maintain a healthy weight while occasionally eating fast food?
Absolutely. I would say it's one of those things where it's not about having your diet strictly be fast food. Again, bringing it to like things I mentioned being on the road a lot. Um, I try to find the healthiest options I can. And, there's been a lot in the news recently about our food supply, right? And
Hmm.
RFK Jr. and what he's doing to try to clean those things up. Finding places that are seed oil free, right? You've got Steak and Shake is now using tallow for their fries again. Um, Another option other than McDonald's that's healthier would be like a Shake Shack. Their burger has 25 grams of protein and it's 100% real Angus beef, right? So it's looking at the sources of the food that you're putting in. And there are plenty of options for fast food, swapping out the apples for fries, for example. I mean, the fries for apples, for example.
Yeah. South Carolina dietitian, you kind of referenced this, mentioned cheeseburgers and McNuggets are diet friendly, although in moderation. You agree?
I do agree. And again, it's not something that you do all the time. I think that
Hmm.
when you're looking at these as specific choices, um, I would rather see somebody do like I mentioned, the burger with no bun option versus the chicken nuggets because those are not that's a combination of things and they're fried and it's got the breading. So I mean, I guess, the Bible says anything in moderation is acceptable for the most part, right? So I would say as long as you're mindful that that's not your whole diet, it's okay.
Okay. How important is portion control when it comes to eating fast food? Can splitting a meal or even skipping some of the sides make a big difference?
Yes. I mean, again, somebody who travels on the road and does biohacking and medical wellness, it's one of those things that you you do want to work on your portion control. Again, and I think there's some psychological triggers when people think about it. If you're craving protein, that normally means you're hungry. If you're
Hmm.
craving cooked sugar and carbs, it's more of you're eating for boredom. It's more of something that's habitual. It's not necessarily your body craving it. It's like mental cravings, right? So um, I think some of the things you can do that are simple things, and these are things I had to work on myself, right? Because living on the road, I would intermittently fast, right? Because I would work all day long and then I would eat and gorge. And The thing is that it's like chewing your food completely, right? And putting your food down before you take another bite. It's almost like a discipline that you have to do to start working on your portion control. But portion control is a key factor, in especially when it looks at your total caloric intake for the day.
So even if the calorie counts are low in some of this fast food that we're talking about, aren't we still dealing with highly processed foods full of sodium, preservatives, additives? What should people look for when choosing fast food?
That specifically, there are definitely different apps out now, like seed oil free, find me gluten free. I'm somebody who's gluten free, so I find areas where I can find those things. Searching for grass fed, grass finished beef options. There's places again like a Shake Shack, which are more prevalent, where they're using hormone free meat and real or Angus beef versus highly processed meats. Again, like that's where, the difference between a Shake Shack and a McDonald's is the beef quality, right? It again, if it is the only choice you've got, you can make healthy choices, but you definitely want to be looking out for those things. And then there's more of these popping out throughout the country, which is like true food kitchens where they have like seed oil free, they're grass fed proteins, and they use real ingredients. I mean, there's certain things that we need for health and longevity, and whole nutrient dense foods is definitely one of those things.
Paul, can I ask you why, and this is a bit off topic, why is it so expensive to live healthy in this country?
I think that's what we're trying to work on, right? Is it's a again, when you're having less additives, less preservatives, the food lasts a shorter amount of time. So it's expensive to produce. It's more expensive to produce that food. So it's
Hmm.
that cost gets passed along to the consumer. But I think that's one of the things that we're working on as a country right now is bettering the standard in which the regular food is available. You can have options. Dr. Mark Hyman speaks about this. Hyman speaks about this quite regularly, where there's like a pyramid of different fruits and vegetables that you can purchase. That some of them, it's if you don't get organic, it's okay as long as you sit there and you soak them for 10 to 15 minutes in baking soda, right? That will remove whatever is in them or on them. But certain things like apples and bananas, which have lots of different glyphosates, glyphosate, excuse me, and a lot of different things that are done during the growing process, those are things that you want to try to get organic. And again, that's the other thing with these meat products that you're taking in. The body is a chemistry lab, right? And when you eat like meat that's raised on hormones and antibiotics, you're not just eating the protein, you're taking in somebody else's chemistry experiment into your body, right? So
Mm.
uh, it's important to look at those things, and you can find those options that are not the most expensive. And again, going to places like Sam's Club and Costco help bring down the cost as it relates to those things. Another thing for people that, if they're not overly familiar with, depending on where they live in the country, would be Aldi. Aldi they bring their costs down by having minimal staff and you ringing yourself out, but they have so many different organic options there at a reasonable cost. So more and more Aldis are popping up across the country so that you can help cook healthier meals at a lower cost.
Nowadays, Paul, families are on the go much more than ever before. Do you have any simple, maybe swaps or life hacks that you would recommend when you maybe have to duck in to get the kids a meal on Saturdays or something, like maybe choosing water over soda or skipping the bun altogether?
Correct. I would say both of those. And then again, it's just like being on the road, right? I'm somebody that has um, I have a sensitivity, and it's inflammatory for me to eat nightshades. So tomatoes, bell peppers, eggplants, and things like that, that people, as they look into these things like paprika. So simple. I travel with these little Heinz ketchup packets because
Hmm.
Heinz mustard packets because that mustard has no paprika. So I think when you're looking at things, it's packing some healthy snacks, right? Getting like Paleo Valley meat sticks, having healthy snacks on hand so that you don't have to always dive into that fast food option if you don't have to. But if that's your only choice, swap out fries for apples, eliminate buns if you can.
What are your thoughts on nuts? I love nuts. I'm an almond, cashew, but here's the thing, Doc or Paul, excuse me. I don't like them raw. I like them a little bit of
Hmm.
salt, maybe a little honey, mustard or not honey mustard, but you know what I'm saying. What are your thoughts on the nuts?
Yeah, salt is great, right? So it's we our body needs minerals, right? Salt is not like, again, I think a lot of us grew up with the food group and the food pyramid, which was, as
Hmm.
we know now, is sort of garbage, right? So uh,
Yeah.
it's good. Healthy nuts have good fats, right? And I would say, looking at the different kinds of nuts you can eat, there are good sources of vitamins and minerals, and just opt for maybe sea salted nuts versus iodized salt or overly salted. Honey's a great natural you know source of anti-inflammatory things as well as health benefits, right? So those are not bad things. And again, you just have to remember that there is a high fat content and a high caloric content when you're consuming nuts. So the problem that we have, again, is going back to that portion control piece where you're sitting and watching, Saturday, Sunday football again now, and Thursday and Monday, right? Great time of year.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
you're consuming mass quantities, right? And you're throwing these things in. It's like one of the things that I had to learn. Again, I grew up in one of those families that you're always, we look for any kind of excuse to get together to eat. Somebody's sad, we get together to eat. Somebody's happy, we get together to eat. And it's taking out the amount that you're going to consume, right? Don't just sit there with the bag or don't just sit there with the can. Take out a certain portion and only eat that.
Yeah, I mean, this, like you said, it's the time of year. You got Friday night football, Saturday college, the pros off on Sunday, and then of course Monday. You're grazing a lot of time. You know, you've got the brats in the slow cooker, or you've got the grill going, and so you're pretty much grazing the whole day. How can someone maybe balance a fast food meal with the rest of their day's nutrition?
Um, Again, it depends if they're planning on what the fast food's going to be. I mean, I would say if you're going to have fast food and you're going to consume the carbohydrate portion of the fast food, try to do that earlier in the day because we do
Hmm.
need carbohydrates which convert to sugars for energy, right? Don't eat like what many people did in college, right, was had late nights and then gorged right before they went to bed on all kinds of pizza and everything else, right? That's horrible. That you want to try to cut off your eating 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed so that it's processing, it's digesting, it's not interrupting your sleep, because sleep is one of the freest, most important hacks that you can do for repair. Um, but try to do the fast food again, like we're talking about like college football. Do the unhealthy things during the afternoon games and then taper off in the evening.
Hmm. Any red flag items on fast food menus that people should avoid if they're trying to not so much eat clean, but if they need to eat, what should they steer clear of?
I would say you really want to steer clear of. I mean, I hate to say it, but in a lot of cases, you're looking at some of the fries. They're it's a carb. It's a lot of times there's additives. They're not fresh. They're frozen. They're fried in seed oils. That plays havoc on your whole body and doesn't get properly utilized for all the fuel purposes that you would need. So I would say steer clear of fries unless again, you've got like a Five Guys that's cooking, and or even like we said now, like a steak and shake that's using beef tallow. um that's where a lot of it is all combined into one. It's a carb, it's got additives, and you're using seed oils to eat it.
Paul, when's the last time that you had a McDonald's fry?
Oh man, again, I'm maybe an extreme example. I haven't had McDonald's fries in probably 2 or 3 years, honestly. And I was also one of those ones that with McDonald's that I I like to use honey when I ate my McDonald's fries because I'm like that sweet and salty guy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
And I haven't had a soda also in probably 4 years. I mean, I drink a lot of water, and if I want bubbles, I'll drink like a San Pellegrino.
Okay, yeah. Those McDonald fries, those are one of my favorites. But Five Guys, they're close there too as well. So, we think that indulging in fast food maybe now and then actually can it help people who stick to their diet goals by, let's say, reducing the restriction? Say you've been good all week, and you're like, I deserve a cheat day, and you have a cheeseburger. That's good, isn't it?
It's okay. Yeah. Like, here's the thing. If somebody's in the middle of a weight loss journey and they're trying to lose weight and they're just getting started, I would say avoid cheat days altogether in the beginning, right? Because you're trying to establish a new discipline. But cheat days are not a bad thing, right? If you're good 6 out of 7 days and you have a cheat day and your cheat is fast food and you're not just like throwing all caution to the wind, right? Then you're okay, right? It's again, it's not going to throw you off if your lifestyle is disciplined as it relates to the rest of your week. So, in the beginning of a weight loss journey and trying to get healthy, I would say avoid cheat days. But once you get there, don't deny yourself. There's also something to be said for the mental peace of mind of enjoyment, right? But food is fuel. We shouldn't have a love affair with it.
Paul, you said that you're on the road quite a bit. You eat fast food. What's your go-to fast food? If you see something in a smaller town or a town, you're like, might as well dip in there and grab something. What's your go-to?
I would say I try to do a lot of when I can, I will do like kava, those like or there's if you have to in some cases you can use like a chipotle for example. Um,
Hmm.
and I'll like if that's my only option like a chipotle where just like if we're trying to find something that's more prevalent across the country, I will do white rice. I will do a combination of chicken and beef, and I will do no beans, and I will get avocado, the guacamole because they don't put tomatoes in their guacamole,
Hmm.
and I will get lettuce, and that will be my bowl, right? So I can do and I have done that plenty. I avoid the sour cream, I avoid the cheese unnecessarily, and I avoid the beans just because it's just extra, you know, calories and things that I don't necessarily need, and I'd rather satiate myself with protein.
What's one thing, Paul, that you wish everyone understood about healthy living in their food choices?
I would say healthy living and food are a total combination. I mean, I find myself going to this study and this book and this show that's now on Netflix quite frequently with a lot of different topics that I cover, and it's called Blue Zones. It
Hmm.
is, it talks about basically in the world where the people live the longest, right? There's people that they call them centurions that live, as close to or get to 100 years old. And there's three basic things these people do and have that are not expensive add-ons. Like I'm somebody that takes peptides and supplements. All of that aside, there's three basic things that humans can do. One, eat nutrient dense whole foods, right? Two, have some form of activity. In many of these places that are rural, they walk from place to place. They take stairs. They don't have vehicles. They're out farming and working their own food to get it, right? And then the
Hmm.
third thing is having a sense of community. Emotional connection is something that helps improve longevity, right? There's so many studies, even just loving and interacting with a dog, right? That endorphin release that has, right? So these are all things that you have to eat, you have to get places, and you can have relationships that don't really cost anything that are necessities. That if people are doing those things, they're winning, right? And there's two basic things that people need to try to have in order to have longevity, and that's having their gut health optimized and having muscle. You're winning health at 80% if you're doing those things.
Paul, I'm going to get you out of here on this. What are your thoughts on the GLP-1 drugs?
Ah, I don't have a problem with them. I think that there's a lot of information that is coming out showing that there's some stomach issues, right? And I think that they're evolving. What a lot of people don't realize as it relates to most drugs is that doctors prescribe them more for off-label use than what they're actually cleared for, because they
Hmm.
do so many things, right? So with the GLP-1s, I think what has come to light now is proper dosing, right? Rapid weight loss. I'm part of a device that I've been a part of and with the development of for the last 4 years called AccuFit that builds muscle without having to work out, right? It legitimately does. It's something that is utilized to build muscle and strength, and it's cleared for that. Um, Most people, when they suffer from rapid weight loss, also have muscle wasting and muscle cannibalization. And we need that, right? I have people that I know that have gained and lost the same 120 pounds for years without GLP-1s. And every time they go back to their lifestyle, they get fatter faster because they have less muscle. So the GLP-1s, when tailored, and I would say that trizipatide is an even more effective than, say, semaglutide, which is, semaglutide would be the brand name Ozempic, and Manjaro would be tirzepatide. There's also ones that are in process, like retatrutide, that they like tirzepatide, for example, it acts on two agonists versus one, and it doesn't give you the same nauseous feeling that a lot of people get from the Ozempic that they say, right?
Hmm.
So I think done and then in combination, I think the key thing, and I think anybody who cares about functional living or biofunctional aesthetics, is you've got to work on the lifestyle while you're on the GLP-1s, because you want to make sure that the food you're taking in, it's going to help you with portion size because you're going to be wanting to consume less, but you still have to make healthy choices and you still have to do the right things, and you want to incorporate some kind of movement or strength training with it. And people that are doing it right, it's okay, right? So I would say the rapid weight loss is always a concern, especially when there's no strength training involved. But
Hmm.
there are people, like I have family members that have thyroid conditions. They're always going to have extra weight. How do they try to be healthy for their joints and not carry extra weight? Well, the GLP-1s are an option for them, right? So I don't think they're going anywhere, and I think they're only going to get better. And I think that, companies are going to be finding ways to make them so that there is less of that muscle wasting concern.
Yeah, definitely. Paul Fulford, healthy living expert with Sanoshur Lutronic, a leader in the field of medical treatment systems. Thank you so much for your insight today, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being on here.